2024 has been a really tough year for Iran. Lots of bad things happen, shaking things up. From fighting in Syria to protests in Tehran, Iran has had a lot of problems. These problems have tested how strong Iran is, and showed its weaknesses. Losing power in other countries, a bad economy and unrest inside the country have all come together at once, leaving Iran in a difficult spot. The government of Bashar al-Assad in Syria, a longtime friend of Iran, lost power. This was a big loss for Iran's goals in the area. It weakens Iran's power and makes it harder to influence things in nearby countries. On top of that, Iran's economy is in bad shape because of US sanctions, the government's bad decisions, and problems with energy around the world. The Iranian rial has lost a lot of value, things are very expensive, and many people can't afford basic things. This has made people angry, and there have been protests all over the country. People are upset about how the government is handling the economy. They want lower prices and to be able to buy the things they need. Then, President Ebrahim Raisi died unexpectedly, which caused more confusion about who would lead the country. As if all that wasn't enough, Iran also had problems with its military. They tried to get back at Israel for an attack on their embassy, but it didn't go well. This showed that Iran's military isn't as strong as some people thought. Also, Israel made Hezbollah, a group supported by Iran, agree to a ceasefire, which showed that Iran's power in the area is getting weaker. All these things show a country having a lot of trouble dealing with problems both inside and outside its borders. When Bashar al-Assad lost power in Syria in December 2024, it was a big shock, especially for Iran. They saw it as a major loss. Assad was removed by groups that don't like Iran's government. This has cut off an important way for Iran to send weapons to Hezbollah, a group they support in Lebanon. Now it's much harder for Iran to give Hezbollah weapons and supplies, which weakens Hezbollah's ability to threaten Israel. Besides the military problems, Assad's fall is a symbolic loss for Iran. Syria has been very important to Iran's plans in the area for many years. Iran wanted to create a strong Shiite presence from Iran through Iraq and Syria to Lebanon. Losing Assad weakens this plan, and hurts Iran's goal of being the most powerful country in the Middle East. Also, now that Assad is gone, Iran has lost an important friend in the area, and other countries like Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States are stronger. The new government in Syria probably won't be as friendly to Iran, which might mean less money and military help from Iran. This change in power could have big long-term effects on Iran's influence in the area. The effects of Assad's fall will be felt by many, but Iran will feel it the most. It shows that Iran's alliances with other countries aren't very strong and can change quickly. This reminds us that things in the Middle East are unpredictable, and even powerful governments can fall. While all this was happening outside Iran, things were also getting worse inside the country. The economy was in a very bad state. Many problems like US sanctions, bad decisions by the government, and problems with energy around the world all happened at once, hurting Iran's economy and making life very hard for people. The biggest problem is the Iranian rial. It has lost a lot of value compared to the US dollar, over 46% in 2024 alone. This has made prices go way up, maybe over 50%. Basic things like food and medicine are now very expensive and many people can't afford them. Iran's energy business, which used to be very important to the economy, is also in trouble. For years, not enough money was put into it, and US sanctions have made it hard for Iran to sell its oil and gas. Now there are energy shortages and power outages all the time, making life harder and hurting businesses. All these economic problems are causing a lot of hardship and making people feel hopeless. The government has tried to fix things, but it hasn't worked, and people don't trust the government anymore. This is causing unrest in the country. For the past few years, Iran's economy has been really struggling. Sanctions, rising prices, and not enough jobs have made life hard for many people. Lots of people are having trouble paying for things because everything is so expensive. This has made people angry and frustrated. There are more and more protests as people demand better lives and more opportunities. The government is under a lot of pressure to fix these problems and make the economy better. President Raisi died suddenly, and now everyone is wondering who will take his place. Different groups are competing for power. This is a very important time for Iran, as the country waits to see who its next leader will be. A lot of bad things have happened to Iran lately, making it weaker in the region. From economic problems to unrest inside the country, things are changing. These challenges are forcing Iran to rethink its plans and relationships with other countries. Recently, it's become easier to use the internet in Iran, giving people more access to information than ever before. Also, Iran is starting to have better relationships with some other countries, which could lead to new friendships and opportunities. Iran is at a crossroads. The decisions it makes in the next few years will be very important. Will it choose to change and be more open, or will it stay on the same path?